Hey everybody, this is Maverick, and today I am going to show you a playthrough of Dungeon Petz, which is an excellent worker placement game. And today I'm going to have the help of my lovely daughter Aaliyah. Say hi.
Hi there.
And we are going to do a round of playthrough of this great game Dungeon Petz, which is an excellent game, and you'll see why in a minute. It's a little on the heavy side, but it's not too hard to learn. Alright, so anyway, right now we have everything set up ahead of time. We have our little stand here, and the object obviously is to raise and sell pets. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to raise and we're going to sell pets. So at the start of the game, we have our tokens sitting at the beginning, and these are the points we're going to accumulate through each round. Here we have the cages that we're going to be able to purchase. We're going to have that option as we start. Because it's a two-player game, we had to set out, these are imps, and we have our own set. She has the red ones, I have the blue ones, and we set out neutral imps on the board because it's a two-player game, so certain actions will be blocked when we first start the game. For instance, here we have one imp on a spot that would normally be reserved for one of us to buy a pet, which on the first row is the younger ones. These are the ones that are not fully grown yet, and you can't actually go and sell them later on when we get into the later stages and we're able to sell them to customers. The customers will come out as the game progresses. After the third stage, from the third stage on, people will come up and they are going to look for pets to buy. And what they want is listed on the top. They want a food, animal that eats, that makes poo, and that gets angry. So that's what they're going to look for. And yes, there is poo in the game, represented by these little cubes. And as the game goes on, we'll show you how that works. So for now, what we want to show really quick is the way we set up the board. We have here, this is the food that you are going to buy to feed your pets. You have meat and you have vegetables depending on what your animal needs. Some animals want meat, some animals want vegetables.
This is a vegetarian, so it eats vegetables because of this leaf here. Right,
it's shown there that the leaf is depicting that it does eat vegetables, so it's not a meat eater.
And this animal is a meat eater because of this picture of meat.
And that's what you're going to feed it. That's good, thanks Aaliyah. And that's what you're going to be feeding them is the meat. And at the beginning of the game, as I said before, certain spaces are going to be blocked because it's a two-player game. So, for instance, this space, if you wanted to send one of your imps to work, you would not be able to send them to buy this piece of meat here. I'm sorry, it should be a little further up. Because, I'm sorry, you wouldn't be able to send them to this spot, which is the mixed meat and vegetables spot, because there's an imp there, neutral imp. You would be able to send it here to buy meat, but only one of us could do that. And here to buy vegetables, again, only one, because there's only one space. Certain spaces have enough room for more than one. For instance, here is the podium where you would be selling your pet, and we'll talk more about that later when we get there. That's a little more confusing. I don't want to overload you. Other spaces on the board are this here, which are potions. Basically, these potions could be used as anything that you want them to. So it's a wild card. So you can actually use one of your what do they call these?
The needs?
One of the needs that you're going to be using to take care of your pet, you can use this card
to replace it.
So it's like a wild card. And in order to do that, you would place your imp here. This is an interesting spot. What you do with this spot here is, if you look on...
You take these imps and you put them here.
Right.
Here are imps.
These are basically your long-lost cousins and relatives, and they are at faraway lands. And as you go along the track of the rounds, you're able to put one of your imps here as a worker placement spot, and at that point you would take any imp that's in that spot, the round that you're in, and any one that you had left before that. So you're able to collect those, bring them into your inventory, and use them to go and do whatever you need to do on the board. So basically we have everything set up. These are the cage upgrades you're able to buy as well, and that's over here as you sorry, not there. Where would you put the for the cage upgrades? You're able to put them here. Is that the spot? Yes.
Yes,
Here is the
that's the
spot.
add-ons.
Okay, here's the add-ons. Okay, so this is the spot. And as the game progresses, these neutral imps are going to move around. So there are going to be actions that are going to be blocked in the future. For instance, on the next round, this imp
will move here.
Right, which would block you from buying one of the older pets. And so on and so forth. As the game goes on, that imp will move around. And so for now, you are free to buy any of the cage upgrades. For instance, this cage upgrade, which has a picture of a little ball and a check mark, if you add that to your cage, and what you're basically doing is giving yourself one of the needs that your pet may have on each round, and that satisfies that need.
Yeah, so I need to play need though.
Right, so you don't have to play one of the cards. In this case, that's already taken care of. But anyway, like I said, we're going to bring you up to speed as soon as we get to that spot. So anyway, without further ado, let us start a game of Dungeon Petz. And for now, the first thing you do is to, in secret, set up your imps however you want them. Basically, you're bidding for who to go first. Well, in this case, Aaliyah has the first player marker, so she's going to go first. But we're going to set it up, and I'll show you what to do after that. So you're going to do yours, I'm going to do mine. I'm going to set it up so that my first group is going to have that, and my second group will have one and that. Now you'll notice that some of the spaces have a picture of an imp and a coin. Basically, you can't do anything on that row without having a coin available as well. It doesn't matter if I had 5 imps set up for my first move, I would still not be able to bring any of my imps there if I don't have a coin with them. And I'll just continue, and I'll keep that like that, and I'll keep one home. The one that's home will stay there for actions that I may need later, which I'll explain as we get there.
And also for the cages, this means you need 2 imps. If you have 1 imp and a coin, that doesn't count. You need to have at least 2 imps.
Right, so you need at least one of your sets should have at least 2 imps if you plan on bringing any here to buy one of the empty cages. But initially you start with 1. The game gives you 1. You start with 1 cube of poo, and we have everything set up. These are the pets that we're going to choose from once the newer ones come out. And every round that goes by, the younger animals move up 1 row and they become older. And if you want to show everybody how to make them come older, give them an example of how to...
Like this is like size 2, and say it was here. And the next turn, it would go up to here and go here, there, like that.
You would bring it up to the second row. And you would spin that dial.
Yes.
Once it gets older,
like
you would
this.
just bring it up.
This would be size 2, and then you move it up to
right.
size 3.
And eventually what will happen is as you're spinning this, you'll start to see the dollars, the coins, and that means they're ready to sell. They're old enough that you can actually sell it to the people that are going to want to buy them. But those cards aren't revealed until the next round.
Yes.
Okay, so let's start a game here. I have everyone set up. Everyone does this in secrecy because nobody can tell the other person who goes first. And then we drop down our covers and we see what we have here. So in the first round, I see here Aaliyah has chosen 2 imps and a coin as her first move. Well, I only have 2 imps, so she is going to be the first one to go. And what is your action going to be, Aaliyah?
I'm going to buy a pet.
She's going to buy a pet, and she'll place her workers there,
here,
and she put the coin there, and she picked up a nice little pet called Uni, and she's going to bring that and put that in her cage, and
right
that is going to be her first move. And as you can tell, I am now locked out of being able to buy any pet on that row, excuse me, because there's an imp, a neutral imp, and Aaliyah there. So if I want anything, I'm going to have to go for the older one. And the drawback to that is they're going to have more needs. And it's very early in the game, so it's going to be very hard to do that. But I will try. So my next move will be to bring my 2 imps here and buy this animal.
No, that's the cage space, actually.
Oh, sorry. Oh, then I'm not going to have to, I can't do that yet then. Okay, well then, in that case, I will bring my, let's see what I'm going to do. Well, I'm looking at that animal, so I know I'm going to need food, so I'm going to bring my imps here, and I'm going to buy this vegetable, because I have my eye on that animal there. And now it's Aaliyah's turn, and Aaliyah...
Because Dad has an imp and a coin, which is like 2 imps, and I have 2 imps. So this is where the starting...
Right, that is your, that is a tiebreaker. She has a starting token, so she gets to break all ties. So she is now going to take her 2 imps.
I think for this, I think I'll go over here and bribe the judges.
Okay, what Aaliyah is doing is she's bringing her imps over to this spot here, which is basically a way to bribe the judges in the contest that's going to happen in the next round. So
I moved this 2 spaces.
So she moves that 2 spaces.
So I have an extra 2 points for this contest coming up in the next turn.
Exactly. So that...
Wait, actually, no. I shouldn't do that. Because at the end of each turn, these go back to 0.
Okay,
and
that's
this is
correct.
The first turn. So I think I am going to, since you stole the food, so I can't go to there. I am going to, let me see. I guess I'll go buy a cage.
Okay. So she's going to buy a cage, and what cage is she going to get?
I think I'll get this one.
And she took the cage that will satisfy one of the needs of the pets, which is the play need. And also, if you look at the top, this cage can hold 1 anger outburst. That shows that number 1. And the blue, what is the blue one again? What is the blue one?
Purple is 1 magic outburst.
Purple, I'm sorry, purple. That will withhold one magical outburst.
And I think I'll put it here to upgrade this cage, because you can do that.
Right, you can upgrade the cage. So she just upgraded her cage. The poo stays there.
The poo still stays.
And that goes there. Okay, so now it comes to me. It's my turn. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 1 imp and the money, and I am going to purchase this animal. And basically it's already a year older than the regular ones. It already has 2 needs. 3 needs. It has 2 food needs, or 2 green needs, and 1 yellow. Yellow could be, what can yellow be?
It's usually play needs, but it can also be magic, food, poo, and sickness.
Okay.
And green can also be poo, anger, and sickness.
Okay, so I'm going to place that in one of the cages, and that was my move. Now, the next move is going to be Aaliyah. And she, because we both have 1, and she has 1, and she has a starting player, she's going to be able to do the next move. And what are you going to do, Aaliyah?
So I am going to, what should I do? I think I'll just, this is a tough one. Let me see. I think I will go to maybe this and get one of my imp cousins to...
So she's going to put it on the space where she's able to bring one of her family members into the clan, so to speak, and she will collect that extra imp at the end of the round. And now it's my turn, and what I think I'm going to do is I am going to get a cage upgrade. And between the 2, this one seems to have some play needs, so I'm going to upgrade it so that in case it does have a play need, it's going to be satisfied by my upgrade. And because Aaliyah has no more left, I'm going to make 1 extra move, and my extra move is to go here and buy, well, I was going to buy the meat, but the meat will go bad after the round. So I guess I have a choice. If I don't have any more moves, I can actually bring 1 back home. And that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to put 1 back home. And before I forget, that food that I bought, I would place here. And if you notice, at the next, between the 2 rounds, this food, this vegetable, will be moved up 1 square, and it becomes more rotten, but not quite to the point where you have to take it out of the game. If it was a piece of meat, it would go rotten if you didn't use it that round. So I am going to put my vegetables here. And that was my last move. Now, if you notice, we have cards in front of us. And at the beginning of the game, both of us drew 1 card of each color. And that's going to give us our starting hand of cards that we can fulfill the needs of our pets.
Yes, or need cards.
So now comes the next part of the game, which I believe, from what I remember, is
It's the need card.
It's the need cards, yes. So what we do is we look at our pet, and I see that I have 3 needs on mine, 2 green and 1 yellow.
I need one green and 1 purple according to this right here.
Right, so you're going to take 1 green and purple from the decks. Take a green and purple and add it to your decks. And I am going to take 2 green and 1 yellow. So I will take that from the decks and add them to my hand. And now we will look at our cards and see what we have. I guess, Aaliyah, you can do the resolving first and explain to everyone exactly what you're doing.
Okay then. So first, I think I'll play the sickness.
She's going to play a sickness card because the first icon on her, show everyone your imp. I mean your
pet.
Right, your pet. And you'll notice that it needs 1 green and 1 purple. So she is going to play a sickness card. And explain why you use that card.
Because nothing will happen as long as I don't have more than 2 manure or poo in this cage.
Right. Had she had more, the pet would have gotten sick and she would have had to take one of these, what are these?
Suffering tokens.
Suffering tokens, which are these gray tokens, and add it to her cage. And the bad part is once you get more than 2, your pet will perish.
Yes.
And certain...
Or more than the amount of needs they have. Like, so for example, this one, if you get 2 or more, it perishes. This one, if you get 3 or more, it perishes. If it was like this, it would need 4 or more to perish. This, 5 or more.
So the older it is, the more it would take to perish. But more importantly, when we get to the later stages, when we're able to sell our pets, some of the customers that are going to be revealed will not want to buy your pet, or if they do buy it, you'd have to subtract
the suffering.
The suffering. Actually, from
all of the customers don't like suffering.
All of them don't like suffering, so you're going to have to subtract at least a point from every one of them if you're looking to sell it. And incidentally, if it's a negative number, if you're trying to sell a pet and it's a negative number, you cannot sell it. Okay, so you've resolved yours very nicely. Let's see if I have as much luck as you. I have 2 green and a yellow.
No, actually, I have 1 purple need.
Oh, you still have 1 left. Okay, then go ahead, resolve your purple.
I think I'll use an anger. Nothing happens because my cage can hold up at least up to 1 anger.
Right, so she has a number 1 at the corner of her cage, and because she used an anger card and the cage was able to withstand it, she will not cause any damage. And incidentally, had she caused more damage than the cage could hold, she would lose that pet. It would run away. Right. So that was your resolve, and everything went well for you. You now, incidentally, you do leave the cards there next to your pet, and you're going to see why in a moment. Now it's up to me, and let's see if I have as much luck as you. Okay, so I have a herbivore. I am going to play a green card and feed my 1 food to my animal. So that goes back into the bank, so to speak. Next, I don't have another food, so what I will do is I will spend the other green as a poo, and then I will go into the inventory and take 1 poo token and add it to the cage. And now I have to resolve a yellow. And what I will do is I don't have to use any one of these play cards because my cage can withstand is satisfied by 1
play need.
1 play need. Now, had I had to use this card, and had I played this card, I would have had to have 1 imp available. I have 2, as you can tell, and I would have had to place them in the cage with the animal to entertain the animal. And that's 1 extra one that you would need. Had you not had that extra imp, you would have to take 1 of these tokens and place it into your cage at the end of the round. So, we are done with the first round. I spent those 2 cards. These cards go out of play. Aaliyah has used those. Now, this is where the next stage comes into play. This is when you would have to keep these cards because these are the cards that you are going to use when it comes to the next round. And as you can tell, the next round we are going to have a magic show. So that means that your pet should have magic cards that are in your hand, and if you don't, you are not going to get any extra points in that round. And as you can also tell in the top left, it's showing that all your animals are entered. Some of them only have one cage. This one shows all your animals are entered. And if it only has one, you would choose which one you want. What is the next step that we need to do?
After that, after this comes customers.
Okay, well, because it's the first round, we have no customers. That happens in the second round.
So
we flip that over now so we can get a peek at what kind of customer we're going to have coming up in the third round.
He likes food, poop, and anger. He doesn't like sickness and depression or suffering, as these are in this dark box here.
Right, the dark box is what the customer does not want, and if you have any of those, you would subtract 1 point for each of them. But he does want animals that eat, that poo, and that have anger. So that's his needs, and he looks like a guy that would like an animal like that if you look at that picture. So anyway, what is the next step, Aaliyah? What do we do now?
After customers, everything ages.
Everything ages.
Yeah, first of all, our pet ages.
So we go to our pet, and now what we'll do is we'll spin it one more step higher.
And now,
if you can tell,
as you can see, have you aged this yet?
No.
And now, as you can see, Dad's pet is now old enough to sell.
I'm old enough to
2
sell,
points.
and as you noticed, he has another need that's going to be needed to take care of in the next round. So this animal just got older, the one that was in the cage, I mean in the store, and now we move it to the top.
Actually, this is the size 3 one. So this is what it does.
And now, what is the next step we need to do?
The next step is after the pet's age, our pets are aged, right?
Yes.
So good. Now the food ages.
Now the food ages. We look and see I have no food to age, you have no food to age. What's the next step we need to do?
Okay, after all the food ages, all your imps come home.
Okay, so we call all our workers back.
On the last turn, we were supposed to use all our imps up. So I'll use my imp. I can't use it to clean the poo because there's a pen in the cage.
Right.
Your cage has to be empty.
Your cage has to be empty in order to clean the poo out of the cage.
Yes. So.
And had she had another cage, she would have been able to move that animal out of that cage and put it into the other cage, and then have one of her workers go in and clean the poo.
Yes.
But that's not the way things work out.
So I can leave it there, and I get one gold.
So she leaves it there, and she collects 1 gold because she has 1 unused worker. I, on the other hand, have 2 workers that have never left, and I can't use them for anything either. So right now, I would collect 1 for each. So I would go into the bank. Well, here we're using this as the bank, so I would get 2 coins for that. And now we call our workers home. So she would collect her red tokens. I would collect the blue tokens. And everyone is back home.
Imp this turn.
And she gets 1 extra imp this turn because she called one of her family members home. Now, what needs to be done at this point is all the neutral tokens that are on the board need to move to the next step. So basically, this imp would move here, which would block anyone from buying the older pets. This imp, which was sitting on the space, one of the 2 spaces reserved for the younger pets, would now move to the cage area. So basically 1 less cage would come out when we were going to refresh.
Yeah.
And this imp here that was sitting on the artifact space will move to the vegetables. And the one that's on the mixed vegetables and meat will go to the meat. So this round, nothing will come out. No one would be able to buy any meat or any vegetables unless they went to the mixed space. So now what's the next thing we need to do? Replenish all our supplies.
Yes.
Let's do that now. First things we need to do is to bring out, replenish the pets. So we're going to randomly take 3 pets. That's 1.
So that's 1.
And set the counter down to the youngest. What's next? Another one?
Next comes this, which goes to that.
Okay, that's 2.
Next comes the 3rd one.
And there's the 3rd one.
Is
going there. So now we have 3 new pets that we can purchase.
And
that one,
nothing happens yet until the next aging.
Right, until the next aging. And if no one buys it then, which they won't be able to because of that, that one goes away.
It goes away, and you add 1 meat here.
And you add 1 meat to show that that animal isn't with us anymore.
You could probably imagine what happened. Right?
Yeah, exactly. We won't go into details. Okay, so we moved up those imps. We moved these imps up. What else needs to be done at this point?
Now, after that, let's do the add-ons.
Yes, we have to replenish the add-ons. So another cage upgrade comes out.
And it's another 1 anger.
It's another 1 anger.
And then we're supposed to replenish the cages. As you can see, a neutral imp
is already blocking 1, so we're only going to bring out 1 cage
one
instead of
new
2.
one.
And the new cage
It
is...
looks exactly like mine, which means
it's going to satisfy 1 play need.
1 play need, and it can hold 1 anger.
1 anger
magic.
outburst and 1 magical outburst. Okay, so now everything is fine and dandy. Now we both get coins.
Yes, and we replenish the food too.
Normally, what you would do, yes, you replenish the food. Now we'll see here. We have a mix.
Food.
Right,
So
exactly.
That means you put 3 vegetables.
3 vegetables get put here in the center. So we'll count 3 and bring 3 over, and 1 meat.
1 meat. Yes.
So that is going to be a very, very sought after spot because that's the only food that we can buy.
We don't bring out vegetables or meat.
We don't bring out either one.
Because the neutral imps are
on those spaces.
Oh, and we also bring out artifacts.
Oh, and the artifacts finally make their way out. And the artifact tokens are very cool.
Yes.
Here we have one. Explain this one to everyone.
This would let you get an extra card. Like either you flip it to either side.
You get to choose.
If you flip it to this side, you get
yellow.
1 extra play card.
1 extra play card from that deck.
And if you flip it to this side, you get 1 extra magic card.
1 extra magic card. So that's really cool. And what happens is when you do land in that spot, you take both of them. You take both tokens with you. And the next token that we're going to reveal is the same thing, but in this case, it's either going to be a green card or a red card. And what makes them so good are these cards that you're drawing to make your hand will resolve your needs of your pet. So the more you have, the better it is for you because you have more to choose from and less of a chance of something happening that you don't want to happen. Okay, so that's done. And what is it that we need to do next?
Okay, so
we've already
everything. Look. Okay, so we removed the neutral imps. We replenished all this stuff. We did this.
Right.
Everything. Okay.
Everything is outlined right here on your little staging area. It tells you exactly what steps you need to do.
So now, after we replenished everything, then we go to shopping and bidding.
Okay, now we do that same thing, the same step we took the first time. And we're only going to go as far as showing you we're going to bid, but we want to show you what it's like to actually have a contest. So we're not going to dwell too much on our choices in this round. So basically I'm just going to put 1 here, 1 there, maybe I'll put 1 there, and of course make it so that the other person can't see. And that's that. And I'm going to keep those, well, you know what? Let me just put 1 extra one here. And put 1 with a coin just in case, and that's it. That's it. I'm done. And she's done, and let's reveal and see what we got. Aaliyah has 2 imps and a coin on her first one. I have 2 imps, so obviously she's going to go first. Second one, she has 2 imps. I have an imp and a coin. Well, that's the same as having 2 imps, but because she has the first play token, she's going to go first. So Aaliyah, what is going to be your first move?
So first let me put this in the bag so I don't forget. And now I am going to get Zoe's artifacts.
So she's going to take the 2 artifacts and decide now how she's going to put them into her library.
This is probably going to be magic.
Because her pet has magical needs.
So
and not only that, but the next sale is going to be a magical, it's going to be a magic show, which is shown by that little diamond shape on the top.
Yes.
Good choice.
And since I have 2 green needs, I'm probably going to flip this to the green side. So I get an extra green.
So now she's going to take an extra green card so that she can get another green need fulfilled. Okay, I'm going to go next, and what I'm going to do is I am going to get that beautiful food that's sitting there that nobody touched for the first time, and I am going to place them into my little refrigerator at home. Aaliyah, it's your turn. What are you going to do?
Okay, then. So next, I am going to, let me see. I might as well get a potion just in case I get a food need, and because Daddy took my food.
I took your food. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Usually she's the one that beats me, but today I beat her to the punch.
Just in case I need a food need.
Gotcha. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I will buy I will buy one of these cages, because I'm going to clean this poo out eventually. So here I go. I put that there, and I will buy one of the cages.
And this goes to the bank.
And that goes to the bank.
Wait, actually, no.
It's one higher.
Actually, wait.
3 green and a yellow. So I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, and a yellow. And add that to my cache of cards that I will be able to look through. So she's going to be the first one and show us exactly what you're going to be doing on this round.
I'm not really taking any chances with 2 poo for my green because I might get sick. Because Uni might get sick. Poor Uni there. So I'm just going to do 1 poo.
1 poo. She's going to take a poo cube from the inventory.
Yes.
There you go. I'll pass it to you next time if you want.
It's okay.
You can add that to your cage.
Yeah.
And what's the next need that you have to fulfill?
And then, of course, I'm going to do the magic.
The magic, because
this is the magic show.
That's correct. The magic show is on its way, so you certainly want to have a point for that.
Yes. And then last but not least, I'm going to need food. I can, so I'm going to use this.
And instead of using food, because I was the first one that ran and got all that beautiful food that was left there, she was forced to use her potion, and she can substitute that for the food. So yours are resolved.
But if I didn't have a food, I would have to put this suffering token on Uni.
And that wouldn't have been good.
Yes.
So now it's my turn to resolve mine. And as you can tell, I already have 2 poo in my cage. So let's see what I have here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play an anger card, because my cage can hold 1 anger.
Yes.
So that's 1. Next thing I'm going to do, unfortunately I won't be able to fulfill the magical part because there are no magical needs that my pet has. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to feed my pet. I'm going to go into my inventory, take 1 of the cubes, and add it back to the bank. And now I have to resolve 2 more green. But what I will do here is use another one of the food cards, spend another one of my food tokens, and feed it a second time. And now I have 1 more green that needs to be resolved. And guess what? I'm going to have to feed it again. So I'm going to use my 3rd card, same card again. I'm going to take my last piece of vegetable, and I'm going to put it back in the bank. And now all my needs are fulfilled. Now what do we do next?
After that, all I need cards are fulfilled, right?
Yes.
So good.
So now
we do the contest.
Now we go to the contest. And if we look here, all our pets can enter the contest. And
it's one point here for every magic need you have.
Right. So in this round that we just were in, if we look at the cards we played, and one of them happens to be a magic card, we get a point for that.
This up, but then he didn't play any magic this
right.
time.
Oh, she called me cheating.
Didn't get any. And I played 1 magic need,
so she played 1 magic need, so she moved up, and look what she did. Because she bribed the judges and she was on 2, she now goes to 3.
Yes, but actually, even without bribing the judges, I would have won because I went to 1 anyway.
Right, exactly. So now, here's how we tally it up. She gets 3 points right off the bat. 1, 2, 3. She moves to the 3rd spot. Plus,
actually, yes, that's
because she finished in 1st place in a 2-player game, she gets a bonus 6 points for finishing in 1st. So move up 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And because my animal came in 2nd, even though I had nothing to show for it, but it wasn't a negative.
Not sure if you didn't participate. Maybe like. Okay then, yeah.
Yeah, it was participated, so I'm going to take 2 points for that. And that's that. So basically we showed you the ins and the outs of the game. The only thing we didn't show you was what would happen if one of no, that's not it. We did explain to you that the customers would come out, and basically what you would do is you would look at your card, your animal, and see here, this animal here would give me 2 coins as long as that round that I played, which is the same way you play these rounds for the shows. If I had played any food bowls in that round, which I played 3, any poo, which I did not, and what else does he want? He wants an outburst, which I did play. I would have definitely made a lot of money on this round. I would have made 1, 2, 3, 4 had this been the round that we were selling. So I would have made 4 reputation points. Now, had I known that I was going to sell, let's make believe this was the round that I was selling in, I would have taken one of my imps.
And you would have put it
and
here.
I would have put it on the
either
podium.
there or there. If you put it on the platform, you get the amount of reputation points times 3. But if you put it here, you only get times 2.
Right. If someone had already placed their token here,
you would have to go here.
I would have to put it in
so if here he would get 12 reputation, here he would get 8.
I would have gotten 8, right. I would have gotten times 2, and there I would have did times 3. Incidentally, the reason for that is here you're on like a stage, so everyone
could see your happy customers.
Everyone sees the happy customer, whereas here, this is like a, hey buddy, come over here, you want to sell a pet? So you would do this on the side, no one would see it, so you wouldn't gain the reputation that you would gain there, and here you would get only times 2. So there is a game, or a few rounds actually of Dungeon Petz.
Actually, now we do the sale, nothing there, so we use up all our imps, so I can't record.
Right, so basically we look to see what's left. I don't have an extra cage, so I can't take that animal out to clean the cage. So I can take 3 extra coins because I had 3 M's that I didn't use.
And become rich.
And become, yes, exactly. I would add it to my already growing amount of money. And how many would you get? You would get 2. Because you had 2. And we're going to give you 2. And that's a game, or like I said, a round of Dungeon Petz.
I already put a coin there, so
it doesn't matter.
Doesn't
matter. Anyway, thanks again for joining us. I hope this helped you out a little. I'm sorry if we made any mistakes. It's inevitable. We've only played this game 2 or 3 times, so we are bound to make mistakes. But at the same time, I hope it was a little entertaining and it gave you somewhat of an idea of how this game is. You can buy one. By the way, this does not come with the game. This little case. This is something that I picked up myself and used it for all the pieces, and they come in so handy, and they're very expensive.
This is just some expansion.
And also, that's correct. Thank you, Aaliyah.
With more pets and more
right.
things.
This is Dungeon Petz Dark Alleys. This is an add-on for Dungeon Petz, and basically what it does is it adds like more. You can make the rounds go to 7 rounds now instead of 6.
And you can have more pets.
And you can have more pets, and we haven't punched them out yet, but you get the idea.
Yes.
So that's a nice little thing, and I'm sure we'll be playing that real soon. Well, thanks again for joining us, and thank you very much for helping me, Aaliyah.
Welcome.
And if you guys have any questions, don't be afraid to ask or leave comments on the bottom. Again, I apologize for any mistakes we may have made, and enjoy the game, and we'll see you guys soon.